Good morning on the East Coast and in the US. Hello to everyone over in Europe. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining with us this morning on how to create dashboards with SAP Business Objects Web Intelligence. I can't tell you how excited I am for this presentation and to be joined by the two gentlemen on the phone, Pascal Garlin, who is our Web Intelligence product expert at SAP, and Mr. Gregory Botticcio. If you guys have been following along, you are very familiar with these two gentlemen. He's the Web Intelligence product manager, and between the two, they are going to help us step by step on how to create the dashboards we talked about a few months ago. So before we begin, I want to make sure that you can interact with us, submit questions at any point in time. There is a GoToWebinar control panel on your right that can be taken in and out with the little orange arrow button. And you've got a questions area where you can submit your questions as we go along. Also, we will be recording the webinar, so not to fret, you'll be able to get a copy or a recording sent to you. And then, of course, we will have polls along the way and a survey at the end to help us continually get better. So without further ado, I want to make sure that we go ahead and take us in here. So just to get started, I want to bring up a quick poll to get us going. So to level set the audience, besides SAP Business Objects, what other analytic tools are you using in your landscape? And so I'm going to hold this open for a few seconds here. And we're getting good engagement. Excellent. Yep. Go ahead and fill this in. Tableau, Power BI, SAP Analytics Cloud, Click, or other. And if you have other, take a second to just jot it down into the questions area. You can say poll 1 and then in your answer. That would be great. It'll help make sure that we got everybody accounted for. All right, looks like we've slowed down. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll so we can keep moving. And to show the results, this is interesting. So Tableau is a backseat behind Power BI in our audience here. SAP Analytics Cloud bringing up the rear, but a respectable 8%. Click, and then 25% of other. And I see some answers coming in questions area. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys interacting here. So like I mentioned, today's session, how to design web intelligence reports that look like real dashboards. And I'm going to hand the mic off to Gregory, and I'm going to make Pascal the presenter. And gentlemen, please take us forward. Oh, Pascal did it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Nathan. So in the meantime, in order to allow Pascal to take back the control of the screen, welcome everyone. We're happy to be with you today. Again, we're going to mention the topic, which is how to use WebI to create a dashboard. The two of us, we will divide the time in the following way. I will do quickly the introduction, and Pascal will do the main part of the session. He will do the demo and take you through step-by-step workflow where he will take a basic web intelligence report and transform it into an interactive dashboard. Next slide, please. And before to start, I'm going to do the marketing part, which is why do we have web intelligence on the market since more than 10 years now? If you are all here attending this session today, you are really familiar with web intelligence, so you know what WebI is good at. So WebI is for ad hoc queries, operational reporting and analysis in a repeatable framework. The repeatable framework, to understand what it is, you just have to look on the chart on the picture on the right, meaning that when you create a report, you start by asking a question to get the data, you analyze the data, you format your data, and then you share your report with your end users. When the end user will get the report, it can interact with your report, it can analyze the report, it can also add additional comments to share its insight inside the report. And if you give him the right authorizations, it can modify the report and start to ask its own question, analyze, format, share again and again and again. So that's what it means by repeatable framework. This is a kind of self-service reporting mode. Many companies are doing this. And second part is all about sharing information. When you create a WebI document, you can share it with one colleague or an entire team on a daily basis, for instance. For this, you leverage the scheduling module or the publication module, which is part of the BI platform, And altogether, the aim of WebI is to improve decision making, to take decision on facts and not on gut feel, and to improve end user autonomy with self-service BI. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm going to repeat myself because here that's the list of the key capabilities that you can find in web intelligence. So the ad hoc query, so you can create your own questions by leveraging the semantic layer which comes with WebI. You can design any type of report easily now. You can create report or dashboard, which is the aim of this session today. You can analyze and interact with your report or dashboard. For this, you have interesting capabilities that Pascal is going to demo to you today. You share your report and you can collaborate with your report. Every WebI document can easily be mobilized thanks to the BI mobile app, which is available since many years now. And moreover, a WebI document can be consumed offline as well. And last but not least, with WebI, you have a lot of SDKs that let you do whatever you want of your web intelligence document. This is quite powerful. Okay, so now coming to the session. Everyone use WebI for reporting. Few use it for dashboarding. Otherwise, it's right. So with WebI, we propose you a full control of the document layout and content, something that you can control the placement of the different report parts. You have different type of blocks, so chart and tables that are there to help you to display any kind of information. You can do freeform analysis thanks to a lot of formulas and variables that you can create to achieve your goal. Plus, you have interactivity that you can inject in the WebI document. You have some widgets, name, input controls that you can use to create your own guided analysis if you want. And last but not least, we have a new and modern consumption experience that we deliver since the further 2 service pack 4 that you can leverage to promote and to increase the usage of WebI as a dashboarding tool. Altogether, these features allow you to quickly design dashboards in web intelligence. That's really what customers are doing nowadays. And we would like to encourage you to do more of this today, but also in the future. We have to admit that with the version for the 1, for the 2, in terms of user experience and workflow, we are not really great. I stop even to position WebI as a self-service reporting tool, even if customers were doing it, because compared to what you can find on the market, it was not the experience and the workflow were not optimum. But with the next BI 4.3, WebI, regarding WebI, we're going to position it again as a self-service reporting tool and self-service dashboarding tool. Because first of all, we have completely changed the user interface to make it really modern and simple to use for your end users. Plus, in terms of dashboarding, that's an axis of development for after photo 3 that you're going to improve and increase in terms of capabilities and innovation. So you're going to get a lot of new things in this area in the coming future. But you don't have to wait for the photo 3. You can go right now with the photo 2, for instance, Service Pack 7. We're going to start a pool number 2 right now before to start the demo. 9-10 if you can. And the question I'm asking you, because you are all using already WebI, and you might have identified some enhancements to make WebI as a dashboarding tool that you would like to see in WebI. For example, would you need scroll bar in table and chart? Do you need responsive design? Do you need a customizable tooltip for Web Intelligence? Or do you need more filtering and selection capabilities inside WebI? If you have more ideas, please don't hesitate to share them via the chat. That's something that will help us to prioritize the next round of innovation for SAP BusinessObjects Web Intelligence. Let's take a few minutes to see how you're going to respond to this poll. Okay, so I have some good tendencies
still going
here.
Up.
Yes, still going up, so that's nice.
And yeah, feel free to use the questions area to add in anything else that you would like. Okay. You want to call that?
Okay, perfect. So we can stop here. So thank you very much. So you think that number 1 is responsive design, second one is more filtering and selection capabilities. Fine, perfect, thank you. And almost at the same position, number 3, scroll bar in table and customizable tooltip. Thanks a lot. Now we're going to move to the demo part, and you already know him. So Pascal will be the main presenter from now. Pascal, it's up to you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. So during this demo, I'm going through, I will go through several steps to create a dashboard from a basic WebI document, a simple report, which can be any kind of a report, and show you how I can transform that report into a proper dashboard. So the first step will be to prepare the layout so that I know exactly which block I need to insert into that report and where to position each of these blocks and which size each block should have to fit nicely into the dashboard. Then I will create the blocks, each one after another, and position these blocks all from relatively to each other, and then add some interactivity so I can change the content of these blocks and let my users to see the information they want to see on these in these blocks. Finally, I will open the result into the new Web Intelligence Interactive Viewer, which is available since 4.2 SP4 in every release of the BI setup. So regarding the first step, so this is the starting point that I'm going to show you. The starting WebI report I'm going to use to make it look like a dashboard. And the methodology is fairly simple. It's just, first of all, you need to talk to your end user to understand exactly what they want to see in that dashboard, what sort of information, what they want to interact with, which kind of information they want to interact with, and then simply draw on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard the basic layout of that dashboard, so such as that the user will see the information they need, where they want to see that information, each block, and the size of each block. So this is basically the work I've done on my side to prepare that dashboard. I draw on a piece of paper the layout I wanted to achieve from the report I just displayed on my screen, and this is the result of that layout. So the principle is fairly simple. Is that I define the the size of the biggest block on the dashboard. Everything must fit onto a single page, and for that I chose the A3 layout, which is the large layout, and which fits nicely on a large screen where I can display that dashboard. It's in landscape mode, which obviously is better for to display on the screen. I decided about the size I would have between the space side. I would have between each block, which is 4 millimeter. The size of the header, I won't have any footer, I don't need it. And so I've decided about the size of the smaller blocks, which will be 100 by 50 millimeters, and the bigger blocks will be simply a multiple of the smaller blocks with respect to the small space, 4 millimeter space between each of the block. And then I named each block according to the content I was going to see. The type of the block, whether this is a chart or table, and the actual content in terms of data. And this is the result I've obtained in less than an hour of work. For the sake of the demo, I mean, there are some steps here which are a bit repetitive, and I will jump over these steps. But I will show you the essential of how to build that dashboard in less than an hour. So now going to the demo, the actual demo. All right, which is here. Going to close that one. All right. Okay. So using the HTML WebI client, so this is my starting point here. A simple report, and this is what I want to achieve from that report. So first step, I take that simple report. You can see it has two tables. It's got I need to switch to design. Of course, it's got a header and a couple of input controls, which I'm going to leave there because I will reuse those input controls. So the first thing to do is to set up the page. First of all, I will work in page mode to make sure everything fit into the page. And as I said, I will switch to landscape mode and an A3 format to have as much room as possible onto a big screen. Okay, I make sure the margins are set to 0 since I want to use all the room inside the page, and I'm going to start to change the background color of every single piece of that report. So the background color here is in appearance, so I'm going to change it to a black color. Okay, for the header, and because I can't see the free cell anymore, I need to pick them up. Right, remember they're around here. Format the cell. Okay, and change the font of the cell into the blue color I'm going to use all across the design of that document. Okay, so I can see the actual content easily. Just fit the free cells at the right hand of the report to make them fit nicely. And do the same here. Change the background color of the body of the report. Not the blue, the black. Here we are. Okay. And I'm going to insert the first report element, which is going to be a tile chart, because I want to replace this small table here by 4 tile charts showing each the measure which we can see here and into that small table. So I go to the chart, I'm going to look for a tile. Just put it here for now. Okay, that's the one. The first one is the margin content, so I'm going to use that that value. Here we are on the margin. Okay, and then format that first tile. I want to have a rounded corner. Very important thing, don't forget to name every single block. So it will make your life much easier when you want to position them relatively to each other. Okay, background, no background, just remove that. Okay, apply. Okay, then I go through each region of the tile, set the color to blue. Okay, white, sorry, the text white, and the background color will be blue. Okay, apply. Same thing with the subtitle, same background color, blue. Oh, here we are, apply. Then the KPI, okay, this is white, KPI font is white, and the background is blue. Okay, and finally the footer. We are going to type here the unit. Here we're talking about euro. Okay, in white with background blue. Okay, so that's it. I've created my first tile, and to make my life easier, I'm just going to copy paste those tile, this tile. Okay, and then change the assignment to the next value I want to display, which is the net sales. So I don't have to work on defining another tile. It's here. Okay, I just need the only thing I need to know is change the assignment and change the name so I know which tile it is. So I'm going to do that for the four tiles I want to display here on the top instead of this small table. And this is what leads me to the step 2, where I have defined those 4 tiles. Here they are. Okay. And so now I can get rid of that small table, and I'm going to change the format of the big table here. I want to make it smaller and control the size of that table. So for that, what I'm going to do is just add some ranking to the table. So I display only the top lines of the table according to the rank which is defined here. So go there, ranking. Okay. I've worked that I need approximately 12 lines plus the header to make the size I want, and it's according to the ranking, okay, which is there. So here we are. Table now is control to the top 12 rows. Just going to add now change the look of the header of the table, change the format cell for that. Okay, make it a bit slightly wider so it fits nicely into my document. No change on the alignment, but the font will be white. Okay, and appearance, color, same blue as usual. Okay, so I'm done here with this table. I can put it the bottom here where it will be at the end of the design of this document, and start moving the tiles, okay, to the top where they should be at the end. Okay, quantity. Don't forget to stay in page mode so I can see everything. Okay, and here we are. Okay, move that one down. Okay. So next step, I'm going to insert another chart, which is a waterfall chart, if you remember. Okay, so waterfall. Category is the year and month here. Okay, and as for the value, this is the to target. Okay, and then format this first block. So same thing here. Give it a meaningful name, so you know which one it is. According to my layout, the width of that tile should be of that chart should be 20.4 centimeter and 10 centimeter high. Okay, I will display the data value, put them outside horizontally. Okay, change. I want to change the to have the to show the total. I want negative values to be in red, the positive values to be in green, and to have a meaningful title instead of the automatic title. I will add my own title, which is a month over a month, months over months revenue. All right, and last thing, just to add the reference line so it looks nice. Okay, so here we are. That's the chart I want to choose. The only thing I forgot to do is to make the title look like everything else here. Background color blue. Okay, so that's the first big block I have here in my document. I'm just going to show you how I create the second one, which is a geo bubble chart. Here we are here. Okay, assign the data. So I want to show the country which have been geocoded, and with the country the sales by country. Okay, here we are. Okay, format that block as well. Same thing. Give it a name. That's the geomap. Size same than the other. The waterfall, I mean. Okay. What else? Want to see the data values. Don't want to see the legend. Takes too much room. Palette. I want to see prefer the pastel palette. And the title. Keep the same policy. So white text, blue background. Okay, should make it. Yeah, that's it. So I will it roughly where it should be. Okay, and I don't know if you remember, I'm just going to show you quickly. We have two other charts here, funnel and tree map. So let's suppose I've created those and formatted them. Okay, and I'm now in step 3. I've got all these my blocks which are defined and formatted. Now I need to position them nicely. Okay, so I'm going to pick the first block, which is the margin, and that's the only block I'm going to position according to the report edges. So I say I want a 4 millimeter gap between each block. That will be the margin I will use. Okay. And then all of the blocks are going to be aligned according to this first block. So the left of this chart will be 4 millimeter on the right side of margin. Here you see how useful it is to name each block, so I know each one I'm talking about. Okay, and the top of this chart will be 0 millimeter from the top side of margin. Okay, so I'm going to do that for every single block. Just position them nicely with 4 millimeter gap between each block, both vertically and horizontally. And here we are. That's the result, step 4. I've done that work. That's fairly quick to do, but I just want to repeat the steps here. And so the final step is to add some interactivity. So we already have a couple of input controls here, and I'm going to add more controls. First of all, I like to use this geomap as a picker for the country I want to see, for which I want to see the figures here, the tiles and the month and of a month's revenue, the table, the etc. So since I'm going to use that geomap as a starting point to filter everything else, I want to see in the header here the country I've selected into that geomap. So I've defined here a variable which goes called current country, where I have a simple formula I can show you, where I just count the number of countries, okay? And if it's greater than 1, then I say all countries. Otherwise, I just show the country which has been selected. So very simple formula. I'm going to put here in the header. When I drag it here in the header, it shows as a table. So I'm going to format the table so it looks nice. I don't want the header. Okay, and format the only cell I have into that table. Photo fit with content, horizontal, I'll make it center aligned, and the font, large font, so we can see it, 30, usual color white for the text, and appearance, no color, transparent. All right, didn't work for the font. It wasn't white, it was blue. Got it wrong. Here we are, blue. Okay, just put it roughly in the middle. Okay. And now going to add the link here to filter all of the documents, all of the blocks, sorry. So from the geomap, I will filter the block, which I just put in the header, all the tiles, margin, sales, quality, customers, the table, the waterfall, not the geomap because I want to see all the country here, and that's it. Okay, finish. So I've got another control here. I can see at the bottom on this, which is the and if I, for instance, select Sweden. Okay, I can see the figures for Sweden, and the name of the country is displayed here at the top. Next thing I'm going to do in terms of interactivity, I like to change the KPI of that funnel here and to have a different to show instead of the net sales interactively show either the net sales of the or the margin in that chart. So for that, what I need to do, I need to define, and that's a trick we explained during our May webinar, how to change the KPI, which is displayed in the chart. For that, you have to define 2 variables. So first, a variable I called KPI, which is simply a constant, which contains the current measure, which is displayed as a KPI into that chart. So as a string, it's called the net sales. Okay, so simple. And then I define another another variable, which is a measure, that one, because that's the KPI I want to change. It's a measure, so it needs to stay as a measure. And what I define here in this formula is I check the content of KPI. If it's net sales, just the value I've defined here, then I will display net sales. Otherwise, I will display margin. Okay. Next step, I'm going to define input control, okay, on KPI. So KPI has custom values, so net sales, which is the default value, and another one which I want to display, it's margin. Okay, so I will give my user the choice between net sales and margin for that KPI. I don't want the users to select all values because it would be a mess, and therefore I need to select a default values, which will be the one I've defined for KPI by default. Easy. Okay, right, and next step. So for funnel, I'm going to change the assignment. Okay, and instead of using net sale, I'm going to use the measure. Okay, right. So at the moment, and you see the title is changed to measure because that's the name of the variable. But I want to see actually the content of measure and not measure itself. So I'm just going to change the formula for the title, and instead of my title, okay, I will use so the content of KPI, okay, plus the remaining of the title, which was by category. This one, okay, is correct. All right. Right. So I'm back now to the current value of KPI, which is net sales. Okay. And here in the input control, if I change it to margin, okay. And my document refresh. This time I have margin, and I display the content, the value for margin in the same chart. Another interactive control I want to give my users is I want to display instead of the bubble here, what I want to show is a tree map of all the countries which are here, but only when I show all the countries. If I select only one country, then I want to keep the bubbles. So what I do, I just duplicate that block here this way, and so the new block, where is it? Oh, it's right here. Funny. And okay, turn it into a tree map. So map, tree map. This time I'm going to see the country, and I will show net sales for both. Okay. So, okay. In terms of alignment, it's going to be just for the time for the document to refresh. Okay. So I don't have to do much formatting here because it's the block is already formatting according to my policy. I can keep that name, I don't mind, and just align it on top of the bubble chart. So top of the bubble, so that's the one here. Okay, and same here on top of top side of bubble. Okay. All right, so now it shows on top of the bubble chart. Okay, and how do I make it disappear when I select or switch when I select a country? then I just need to use that field here, hide when the following formula is true. And the formula is simple. I just count again the number of country, count country. Okay. And when it's one, when there's only one country which has been selected, then I want it to be hidden. Okay, that's it. Right. To make that interactive work, I need to change the link here. So the dependency will also apply to the duplicate of bubble, which is the tree map. Okay. Now, if I select Sweden again, I should go away and I should see the bubble chart. That's it. The tree map is gone. I can see the bubble chart. If I reset my filter on the geomap, then the tree map should be back. Just to verify, yeah, it's working. So that's the interactivity I wanted to build into my dashboard. So what I'm going to do now is just switch to the new Web Intelligence interactive viewer and then visualize that document into my viewer. Just log off from here. Okay, I don't need to save it because I'm going to use the result. Okay, start the interactive viewer. So the difference between the new interactive viewer and the previous, the legacy WebI client is just in the URL. It's installed by default since 4.2 SP4. And if you change the URL to BI Launchpad, then you get to the new BI Launchpad and the Web Intelligence interactive viewer. So HTML5, it's got more interactivity than the traditional WebI client, hence its name. It's got also some specific features which are important for a dashboard, like chart animations, which are always nice to see, and also the ability to refresh automatically every n minutes, and you define the number of minutes you want the document to refresh automatically. So that's a setting which is available to anyone here in that new Web Intelligence client, interactive client. So just give it some time to display everything here. Right.
Pascal, that looked great.
Okay.
Really impressed with the way all this is coming together.
Thank you. Just going to switch to full site, make it nice. So I got a small screen here, so I can't see everything in one go. I'm just going to fit to page here. But if I had a bigger screen, that would fit nicely in that screen. I got here all the filters, the input controls which were defined in the original document, plus the one I've added here to change the KPI. If I click here on one of the on the geomap here, so I got here, I'm going to change the content of the document, and on the dashboard you're going to see that in a minute. And then so it's coming here. Sorry, it's a bit slow on my machine. And here I have the filter which I just set on Sweden, so I can change the KPI here, switch to margin. Okay, and I will show the margin here on the in the funnel chart. I could I could do that on other charts as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be on a single chart. It was just an example to show you how it works and how to build that into your document. And here I could build a filter path here. So with the, first of all, with the line of product, then so I can choose, for instance, just line of product and category into that line. I can have two. Okay, so I got here all lines available. I can choose to display only the electronics product. Okay. And so basically that's it. I mean, that's this is how you can build such a dashboard. Nothing complicated really. If you follow the steps I've explained to you, and then it's fairly easy. And just make sure what takes time really is to if you don't define clearly your layout at the beginning, then you keep going back and forth, changing the blocks and position them in different ways into your layout, and that's where you waste your time. So really spend the time to define the layout, the size of each block, what you're going to show in each block. Make sure that matches what your user want to see into that dashboard. And once everyone has agreed on that layout, then you can just start designing the dashboard in really in a flip, and it's really fast and easy. So that's it for the demo. I'm going to hand back the screen to you, Nathan, if you want to take it over.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I wanted to say that also and you were prepared for what you were going to show, but the speed with which you were able to put that together was really impressive as well. So really appreciate everyone joining. We've got Q&A coming up, so I've seen a number of really good questions that I want to get answers to, but quickly, just a little bit about the host. Of course, if you're on this, you probably are familiar with 360, and really just our mission here is to improve and give you the tools you need to manage business objects in an automated, user-friendly, bulk way. And we've got over 600 customers around the world that are doing things like smoother and faster upgrades, operations and maintenance, being able to get into the metadata, lineage, do monitoring of business objects, to be proactive. Customers are the ones coming and saying, hey, there's a problem. Being able to do QA and regression testing, this has been a huge win for a lot of our customers. Rock solid backup, restore, disaster recovery. And in fact, one of the gentlemen on this call today, we were working through a disaster recovery scenario where he was testing out the restore and disaster recovery just last week. So this is in practice, in active right now, in active clients. Platform adoption and optimization. This piece right here, this was I had meetings last week in Dallas with a number of customers where this particular piece was front and center. So getting the information you need to be able to not only be able to optimize your platform, so understanding what's being used, what's not being used, etc., but being able to measure and define and communicate adoption across the, there's a, for good, bad, or ugly, there's a stigma around business objects saying, this is old technology, it's been around a long time. Well, it has, so is Coca-Cola, and it's still delicious and good today, and so is business objects. And especially, as we keep moving forward on this visualization aspect of being able to put beautiful dashboards together like what we had in today's presentation, being able to define what your platform adoption is over time, be able to communicate that effectively to the organization, has everything to do with maintaining business objects and all the effort and business logic that's been built into the platform today, and being able to use it in its position and in its bread and butter for organizational, operational reporting, and even visualizations. And regulatory security compliance, a lot of times this piece is almost an afterthought because people are doing really the presentation later, and the place where everyone is consuming the information is actually needs to be a part of your PII or GDPR, SOX compliance. You know, a lot of organizations are now bringing business objects into this aspect, and we are helping our customers be able to answer and not be a known risk in terms of meeting those compliance areas. Automation, bursting, cleanup, and archiving, you know, really just making it user-friendly, management-friendly. I think that's a big piece. And then, you know, defining, I meet with a ton of organizations where the goal is to be able to deliver self-service out into the organization. And part of that is, you know, developing a data catalog, being able to communicate to the users what is actually in business objects, and being able to help them self-serve themselves. And that is a big piece of what we do in enabling those type of aspects. So I wanted to quickly do our second to last poll here. I want to understand who all is going to Tech Ed this year. So we've got SAP Tech Ed coming up in Las Vegas towards the end of this month, and wanted to see of everybody here who's attending. We just produced a webinar or a blog about the best analytic presentations coming up at the conference to be able to quickly add and put that into your agenda. So if you're planning on going, or you know someone in the organization that's going, make sure that you point them in the right direction, and we can follow up after this to help communicate that to you, for you to be able to share that information internally. And if you're in that maybe category, trying to make sure that you can prove out the budget to go, you know, there's going to be valuable sessions there, and it's going to be a very good use of time. All right, so we've slowed down. I'll go ahead and close that. To that end, all right, I don't know where it went. So there is if you are going to be at Tech Ed, we are going to be throwing a party, an analytics party on Wednesday night. I believe it's going to be 6:30 p.m., but we've got all the details on our website. We'll be able to communicate with you based on that poll there. So if you're going, make sure that you make some time to come attend. We'll have nice music, good food, some champagne, wine, of course, and want to make sure that you get a chance to meet Pascal and Gregory in person, be able to ask all the questions that you're looking for. The session we did at Sapphire was one of the most valuable, according to every one of the attendees that we had attend lunch at Sapphire. So I've got one last poll to share with you guys. So the basis of this is, how can we help? We're in the business of helping business objects customers. And as you can see, we do this all around the world for a number of organizations. And if we can help you at all, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business, to show you why our customer service and solutions are top of the marketplace in terms of, you know, helping the analytics department be able to deliver business objects, deliver your best customer experience into your organization. So I'm going to leave that up. And I want to make sure that, you know, we've got a couple of webinars coming up. These will be very good, and those are old. But the webinars area of our website is up to date, and you can definitely get there. to sign up. So finally, I want to just bring Pascal and Gregory back into the conversation here. Gentlemen, I know we had a couple of questions that came up. I also know that Gregory was being diligent about going through and answering, but I was wondering if you wanted to pull some of these forward, some around performance, some around just general aspects of what you were presenting, to bring out some good points here. Gregory? Are you on mute?
Yes, I was on mute.
Yeah, there we go.
What was the question? I was
I wanted to. Sure. I wanted to bring you back into the discussion here because we had a number of really good questions come up in the Q&A section, and I know you went through and answered a good number of those, but I wondered if you wanted to pull out some of these around performance, some of these around general technical aspects, just so that you can share with the rest of the audience.
Yes, of course. Yes. So also some questions regarding the formatting and if this step can be speed up. So we have already a few capabilities available for you in WebI. So for example, when you apply a certain formatting on a block, you can copy this formatting and reapply it on the same type of block. So that's something which is quite hidden in the interface today. You have to really to find it. This is positioned next to the color palette option, and you can use it to avoid to do the same step again and again. There is another way you can improve this is by using the multi-selection. By doing a multi-selection, for example, of multiple charts or multiple tables, you can reapply the same formatting in one shot. So you can achieve this kind of things. There was also some ask regarding how to position the different blocks. Can I relatively position from the right border of the page? No, you can't. This is an announcement request. Or for instance, can I relatively position from the center of the report? No, you can't. This is another announcement. But altogether, this indicates that there is probably a few quick wins that you should do in the web interface after the follow tree, which is, for example, to position center, align left, or align right the blocks. So we can look at this for sure. So yes, that's it. Yes, there is some lags regarding the performance. Yes, Pascal answered to these questions. Pascal was using a VM. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I was referring more to that for one of the first questions into the presentation piece, asking about what APS drivers this uses. She had some performance issues. Showing that was the performance piece that I was talking about.
Oh yes, for this one, it's difficult to answer like this. For sure, all the components needed to manipulate the chart is part of the APS. Sometimes it's good to split the APS, so the adaptive processing server, and to give it a good amount of memory in order to make it smooth when you have a lot of things to do. Yes, but otherwise there is a good page from the product support, so from SAP support, which highlight things you could do to improve performance and things to consider. So I think this is worth maybe to be shared with attendees.
Perfect. Yeah, and if you want to discuss this further, I know some people that would be happy to help you figure that out. So I'll reach out afterwards just to offer that up, and if I can be of service, let me know. Finally, gentlemen, thank you so much. This was awesome. Pascal, you did a great job. I mean, they look really, really good. And I think it's consistent across both of the webinars we've done now on this topic that people are really liking what you guys are bringing to the market. So I'm really excited to see it come out into production use. And I think everybody else is as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And look forward to talking with everybody again next month. Cheers.
Yep.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Bye.